guys. Welcome back. Short break there. I'm Sean Sumner, casting this VGC World Cup 2025 Week 4. And there's a familiar face with us today, Gabby Schneider. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Sean?
I'm good. I'm feeling great after that last set. It was really fun to watch with the Cramorant and the Gastrodon as well. Seeing it get a one-turn knockout was like, I don't think I've ever seen that before. So it's really fun, yeah.
Yeah, I had to reach back into my memory banks to remember about Cramorant, so it's always fun to see when people recognize opportunities for something unique in the metagame. You know, I think a lot of people have been experimenting with Tailwind users ever since Kilowatro has kind of made a resurgence in Regulation H.
Yeah.
Don't think Cramorant necessarily has the conditions it needs to take off to be the next Tailwind setter, but hey, if you can consistently get gulping form and consistently get paralysis down on something, I mean, that's another form of speed control, right?
Right, exactly. And I had a focus dash, you have to
Yeah.
potentially hit into it twice, and if they call that and protect, then, it's staying on the field. And talking about Tailwind users, we did see Mandibuzz appear on the Pokemon broadcast this weekend in Gdansk.
We did, yeah. I have to go back and watch a couple of those games as time zones were not in my favor. But I did wake up and check my social feeds, and I had to double check which game they were posting about, because Mandibuzz to me is more of a Pokemon Go Pokemon at this point. And I was like, that's not that game.
Yes, I did see some tweets.
But no, it's exciting to see so much innovation in Regulation H, especially as the metagame is starting to wind down. I think this is a perfect time for people to start experimenting, and especially in the World Cup. I mean, this tournament is a bit more fun, I think, than some of the more serious tournaments out there. I like to see people, celebrating their national pride. And what better way to do that than with some unique Pokemon and some unique strategies?
Exactly, and both teams there were just that, right? They were unique strategies. We both saw them come out with those strategies in across all the games, and yeah, just a really cool set. So talking of that set, let's move on to match 2 now, which is the group stages of Week 4 of the World Cup. So here, these are the matches between Taiwan and Greece. The one we're featuring today is Jambo Lai versus Paschalis Dermentzis, and these are the other matches listed. So these won't be on stream, but and the results have not been revealed yet.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this is going to go. You know, I think that we don't get to see too much of Taiwan, as most of their circuit is played off stream, unfortunately. I know that they have a very unique qualification system as well, but we have started seeing more coverage of the Master Ball League in particular, starting, I think, since last year. So it's great to see them on this worldwide stage, and hopefully we'll start to see more of their official tournaments as well moving forwards.
Yeah, exactly, and it's such a privilege for us to get to feature them here.
Yeah, for sure.
On stream, right, as part of the World Cup. And Greece, on the side of Greece as well, some interesting players there. I did see, before it went away, Costa Didymos is playing this week as well, which is always good fun to see someone like Costa bring forward, whatever team they're going to bring forward. So all good.
Yeah, so best of luck to both these trainers. Why don't we go ahead and look at our players this week and the teams they are using, because I was looking at them before we got started with this segment of the stream, and it's interesting that, talking about unique strategies, I think the Pokemon that we're going to be featuring in this matchup are a bit more common as we take a look at our first player. This is Paschalis Dermentzis, again from Greece. Very familiar faces in terms of the Pokemon. Also has some incredible accomplishments. Made day 2 at EUIC last year. Greece got top 16 in the World Cup last year as well. Also has a couple of top 32 placements. But pairing Dondozo Tatsugiri with Glamora especially, I think, has a very unique opportunity to slow the game down a lot and really take advantage of those toxic turns, assuming you can get the toxic debris up twice.
Exactly, it has to be hit by a physical attack, I believe, to set that off. So something like a Dragonite Scale Shot will definitely be activating all 3 of those toxic debris and getting all those toxic spikes down as well. So sometimes as well with in the past we've seen with Dondozo, Tatsugiri, and Glamora, we've seen like the Mortal Spin move as well, just to guarantee poisoning your opponent's Pokemon, just to then stall them out with Dondozo. But yeah, this team, we've seen it before, I think, right, with the 9-Ape Terrastella, Focus Sash, the final Gambit. So anything this team doesn't like, a 9-Ape can just come out and just click Final Gambit and probably get rid of it Unless it's unless it's a ghost type. But then obviously he's got Rage Fist to cover that as well, and the Goldengo with the specs as well. So that Terra Steel is going to be hitting very hard. Potentially Talonflame Goldengo lead that can hit very hard into the opponent and then wear them down for the Dondozo to come out. So this team well established and very, very strong against a lot of matchups.
Yeah, for sure. And it also has a lot of ways as well to open up the opportunity for Dondozo Tatsugiri to close up the game, which I think is something that Yanbo is really going to have to consider as he goes into team preview, because looking at the team that they've decided to bring to this matchup, they're running something a little bit more standard, a little bit more familiar. And if we could go ahead and take a look at that, you will also see an Annihilate on his team. And it's also going to be like a Volcarona, a Goldengo, a Tyranitar, Rillaboom, and Ursaluna. Again, all Pokemon that have been very common throughout Regulation H, throughout even Gdansk, honestly, this weekend. We saw just how powerful Volcarona was in Simone's team that ended up winning, despite his original doubts against the Pokemon. But all of these Pokemon are really going to struggle, I think, against the Dondozo Tatsugiri combination, especially if there is Toxic on the field or Toxic Spikes on the field, because they're all going to want to hit, most of them will hit physically, and then how are you going to break through Dondozo, especially after it gets those commander boosts up?
That's right. Just to cover Yanbo's achievements here. So, competitor one time, world's competitor one time, 2024 Taiwan Championship Top 64, and then Master Ball League Top 8 in 2025. So, strong player coming out from Taiwan here, and a strong team. I have seen this team on ladder, and my goodness, it wreaks havoc. The Sand combination with Ursaluna, and there's also Annihilate here with Taunt to shut down any potential Trick Room shenanigans, or other Tailwind users perhaps, with the safety goggles as well, or any opposing Amoonguses or grass types that want to sleep things. And yeah, this Volcarona with the Tailwind Struggle Bug support set here with the Rage Powder, Citrus Berry, it can Terra Fairy away from potential Dragonite scale shots. It could just outright take a scale shot and survive that with the Citrus Berry. Tyranitar here adding a lot of offensive value and defensive value with Assault Vest in the sand and Terra Flying, so it could threaten opposing Ridobooms. This team has it all, Gabby. It really does. I mean, the Rillaboom is Terra Grass Miracle Seed. Imagine that hitting a Woodhammer in grassy terrain. I don't think anything is surviving that.
But I believe the Dondozo was Terra Grass as well. So you say anything's surviving that. I don't know. I do feel like if you look at the teams head-to-head, I do want to say that Paschalis does have a little bit of an edge just because his team is a little bit more unique and does have like such a strong, I guess, backline, if you will. But we'll just have to see how these trainers are going to match up, because at the end of the day, Yanbo does have, more common tools. And as an ability, I think having those tools means you have an easier time adapting to some weird situations that can come your way, such as Glamora, Dondozo, Tatsugiri.
That's right. You're definitely right there. Let's see how these trainers match up. Game 1 is ready for us to go into here between these two teams. So we do see a lead of Goldengo and Rillaboom on the side of Yanbo, and Talonflame Goldengo from Paschalis. So
this is nice. I mean, we get to see how the Goldengos compare speed-wise right off the bat.
We do. We see the Grassy Surge go out from the Rillaboom as well. So, there's Fake Out Pressure. The Grassy Seal will activate the opposing Goldengo as well. So perhaps it could survive any, Flare Blitzes from the Talonflame if it wants to go for that. But also this Goldengo choice specs, right? So even if Goldengo Terra Waters away from that, I think Goldengo is going to be hitting really hard anyway. Even if it becomes a neutral, if Shadow Ball, for example, becomes neutral. It's obviously Fake Out Pressure from the Rillaboom. It's also got it does not have high horsepower to note, so it cannot hit. It cannot super effective hit the opposing Goldengo. And obviously Talonflame here does not have Covert Cloak, and it's not Terra Ghost, so it does have to worry a little bit about Fake Out Pressure from the side of Yanbo. So it does protect.
Yeah, and without Terra Ghost and without Covert Cloak, I think that's exactly why you run Protect on this Talonflame. But that Protect will also be matched by the Golden Go on Yanbo's side of the field. Fake Out will not connect with the Talonflame because of it, which does give Paschalis the opportunity to target whatever he wants with that Golden Go. But it was the opposing Golden Go with that Shadow Ball, so ultimately no damage done this turn. But we do know now that Golden Go is locked into Shadow Ball, so a Water-type Terastallization could be in play this turn.
Yeah, it's very interesting because obviously we saw Fake Out and Protect. So perhaps Yanbo is just scouting, what's this Goldengo going to lock into with the choice specs? And maybe they have Tyranitar lurking at the back here, potentially take a Shadow Ball really well, and also, chip this Talonflame, and potentially any Talonflame moves also going into that slot will be not very effective. So Tyranitar could be a strong switch in here from Yanbo. And the Rillaboom's under threat as well from Talonflame on this turn. It still gets threatened by a one-hit knockout from either Brave Bird or Flare Blitz with the Life Orb damage, so Rillaboom retreating because of that.
Yeah, and sending in Tyranitar here would also be a great opportunity to ensure that Gale Wings is no longer in play, but it's actually going to be that Volcarona on the field for Yanbo, and a Terastallization as well on that Golden Go into the Water type, so no longer have to worry about any super effective damage from a Shadow Ball, but does have to worry about the fact that it is going to be Choice Specs boost, and Brave Bird is able to just pick up the KO on that Volcarona easily. Talonflame will be taking some damage in recoil, but that is a fantastic trade for Paschalis, and also we'll get some Life Orb recoil damage as well. Shadow Ball into the opposing Golden Go will do a little bit over half of its health, and Nasty Plot will boost the opposing Golden Go's attack, but we did see it move second this turn.
Interesting. So yeah, this Goldengo on the side of Paschalis, we did see was faster than the opposing Goldengo, and the Brave Bird just nicely calling out a potential swap there from the Rillaboom. Obviously couldn't tear away either, it's Terra Grass, so it couldn't tear away from Brave Bird or Flare Blitz weaknesses. So swapping out Volcarona, potentially a good choice if it was a Flare Blitz. However, we did see the Brave Bird, so just straight up knocks it out. Do you see Talonflame kind of go down to roughly up 50% of its HP here from the recoil of the Brave Bird and the Life Orb? And we do see this Goldengo is faster. So meaning, Paschalis still has the threats here. The Goldengo, you can't fake it out, it's Ghost type, and it still is faster. So we do see a fake out into Talonflame instead.
Yeah, Talonflame will not be able to move this turn, and we do see Paschalis' Goldengo move first once again. Shadow Ball will be picking up the KO on the opposing Goldengo, and now Yanbo's down to his final two Pokemon.
Indeed, that's a very strong opener from Paschalis here. Just stamping down their authority on this hyper offense matchup here with the Talonflame and Goldengo. Life Orb Talonflame, taking out knockouts left, right, and center here. Goldengo being faster than the opposing Goldengo, obviously. That threatens Goldengo. However, Annihilate now comes out, and we don't know for sure, but Annihilate potentially does outspeed Goldengo without Tailwind. So there's a question mark here whether the Talonflame survives the Grassy Glide, but actually we don't see that.
I mean, it technically did if it targets the other Pokemon. Unfortunately, though, Talonflame will be taking a KO in return on that Rillaboom with another Brave Bird. It is just that Annihilate left, and I'm not sure we'll even see what Pokemon that Paschalis has in the back. It all depends on how much damage this Rage Fist is going to do to the opposing Goldengo. It will be super effective, but Annihilate hasn't been hit yet, so its base power is still very low. Shadow Ball from that Goldengo will once again connect with the opposing Pokemon. It's a one-hit knockout, and Paschalis just very comfortably taking game number one, only losing one Pokemon in the entire game.
That's right, and I think that Talonflame may be potentially doing more damage than Yanbo sort of realized or potentially respected, because it took two knockouts, didn't even click Tailwind, and it was fine for Paschalis to go down that route. So Yanbo potentially maybe needs to also match Tailwind, or potentially have the threat to with that Volcarona and not see it get one hit knocked out. So maybe that was their downfall in that one, but it was a really explosive game from Paschalis coming out.
I also loved how Paschalis recognized that there was really no incentive to click Flare Blitz. I mean, if you were going to attack into the Tyranitar, it would still be resisted compared to Brave Bird. And since 3 of the Pokemon on Yanbo's team were weak to Brave Bird, there was always going to be an advantage there. Like if you landed the attack, it's going to be super effective. So that was just a great call from him. Every single turn he did that.
Yeah, precisely. And I think if Yanbo perhaps did have Tyranitar in the back, obviously it's not great against Dondozo, but it is good against Goldengo, Talonflame. So maybe Yanbo responds with that if they respect the same leads in game 2. But yeah.
I think you do have to consider that adjustment. You're absolutely right that it would not be good against Dondozo Tatsugiri, but we didn't even see them in this game 1, and unfortunately you do have to knock out the first 2 Pokemon to get to the ones in the back. So a Tyranitar adjustment would certainly be interesting. I would also be curious to see maybe the Rillaboom preserved a bit better, especially if the Talonflame is led once again. But we'll just have to see how the next game's going to play out.
Wow,
let's
go
ahead and kick it off. Yeah, let's go ahead and kick it off. Leads going into this game are, once again, the Rillaboom, but this time it will be the Tyranitar next to it, and the Talonflame and the Goldengo out on the field for Paschalis.
Okay, so that Tyranitar coming straight on the field. It's quite a small Tyranitar compared to Rillaboom. That's surprising.
Yeah,
but
I was going to say, it looks very small compared to that Rillaboom.
It's an extra small Tyranitar in size, but you know what? That doesn't affect his stats. That's absolutely fine. This Talonflame again, a strong lead going in for Paschalis. Worked last time. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we're going to see this very strong offensive duo again. So Rillaboom under threat, Tyranitar under threat also from this Terrasteel Make It Rain. So has to really respect that. Maybe it Terra Flying's out of it, but if it does that, obviously it doesn't get the Sand Boost anymore for its special defense, then it will take Sand Chip. And Make It Rain will become neutral, so still doing a lot of damage to Tyranitar. So still, this is better for Yanbo, but it's still there's still some question marks around what they do here and how they respond to the threat of Paschalis' side of the board.
We are going to see a terrestrialization, so that could be the first step in at least Paschalis going on the offense with a Terra Steel on that Choice Specs Goldengo. This is one way that these Choice Specs Goldengo just like to add damage multiplier on damage multiplier. We will see Talonflame protect once again to protect itself from a Fake Out, but no Fake Outs to be had. It's just a straight Make It Rain. Picks up the knockout on the Rillaboom, does not knock out the Tyranitar. That is just how bulky it is thanks to the Sandstorm and thanks to that Assault Vest. Knockoff into the Goldengo will be removing the Choice Specs, but I think this is almost a good thing for Paschalis now because hypothetically speaking, if there is a Goldengo in the back for Yanbo, now you can pivot to Shadow Ball or maybe even a Thunderbolt or something depending on what Pokemon your opponent has.
Very good point, Gabby. And I also to note as well, Talonflame. Now no Fake Out is left. Now we're in a Grassy Glider threatening it. It is going to outspeed everything on Yanbo's side of the team. So it can do anything it wants to here, pretty much, right? It can set up Tailwind. It can attack. Because it's Life Orb as well. You have to really respect the damage coming out of the Talonflame. But we do see Yanbo just swapping the Goldengo and activate the Grassy Seed boost here.
Yeah, and I believe last game as well, you mentioned that with the Grassy Seed, it's possible that Flare Blitz wouldn't be a knockout with like just a single targeted attack. So we could possibly see Paschalis like Tailwind this turn and then go on the offense next turn after some chips down on that Goldengo. It really just depends what his priority is here. Yeah,
that's right. Again, Talonflame does have obviously if it has one move left realistically, right? Unless Tyranitar goes down this turn, which is definitely feasible. So we do see a Terrestrialization on the side of Yanbo just to respond here, and that is that Goldengo Terra Watering away, so keeping it safe from any Shadow Balls, keeping it safe from any Flare Blitzes from Talonflame. So now those moves are now resisted or neutral for the Goldengo.
And also possibly a recognition from Yanbo that this Pokemon really is the Pokemon he needs to protect in terms of his endgame strategy here. Will not be taking any damage from that Flare Blitz, but another Make It Rain from Paschalis' own Goldengo will do enough damage to pick up the KO on that Tyranitar. So depending on who the opposing Goldengo targeted, this Talonflame might get yet another attack this next turn. We saw Goldengo go for a nasty plot in game 1, but this time just going on the offense with a Make It Rain of its own for some nice chip damage. But both Talonflame and Goldengo are still standing on the field.
Yeah, that's right. It's still a, Goldengo and Talonflame proving their worth here. They're still very, very strong. Make It Rain taking out Tyranitar, so that's now gone. I wonder what's in the back for Yambo, because Make It Rain was interesting there. Obviously, both Pokemon were resisting that. Maybe with an aim to chip them down into range of Volcarona, but Volcarona now comes out. Obviously, you know, that's under threat from Talonflame here with the Brave Bird, but maybe Yambo is thinking, if I can get into Brave Bird here and knock itself out, but even then, they have one Pokemon left, so...
Yeah, this is unfortunate because that Brave Bird is almost guaranteed to outspeed and pick up the KO on that Volcarona. It doesn't know Protect, and while the recoil damage will take out the Talonflame, it is just going to be the Golden Go left for Yanbo against 3 of Paschalis' own Pokemon. Golden Go goes for a Thunderbolt, which is -2, so it is super effective, but not by much. Shadow Ball from the opposing Golden Go will just barely miss the knockout on Paschalis' own Golden Go. So, unlike Game 1, we will get to see what Paschalis had in the back, and it is going to be the Dondozo-Tatsugiri combination, which I find interesting, but Paschalis is just one move away, one turn away from locking in the win for Greece.
Yeah, I think it's all but over, right? There's just Golden Go left, Dondozo in the back. It's looking pretty doomed for Yambo, but... Just a very strong offensive core, you know. Or it doesn't quite actually go down to that.
It's an interesting innovation on the Incineroar Golden Go leads that we've seen throughout Regulation H. You know, you still get a similar type coverage with the fire typing to support, you know, the opposing Golden Go matchup, but having Tailwind as well, and just Talonflame's natural speed, I think really benefits Golden Go as we saw here. Yeah,
that's right. And ultimately, that means Paschalis wins Game 2 and ultimately wins a set for Greece versus Taiwan in the Stream Features set. So Paschalis coming out very strong, showing why Goldengo Choice Specs, Make It Rain, Terra Steel is very strong, and even if anything is resisting that, it has to respect it.
Yeah, you really do. And I think that going into Regulation H in general, just not having an answer for Golden Go, not knowing what on your team can like outspeed Golden Go can be really dangerous. And this is exactly why. We saw the pivot to Tyranitar to try and hard counter the Talonflame in Game 2, but just wasn't enough.
No, because the Talonflame and Golden Go complement themselves really nicely, right? If it was a Volcarona lead, that's really threatened. If it's Terra Fairy, by Brave and Make It Rain combination, it's hard for Yambo to get around that. And ultimately we saw the hyper offense come out really strong from the side of Greece and Paschalis and take that set, and a really strong performance from Paschalis there.
For sure. So do we have any updates on how both Greece and how Taiwan are doing in the World Cup overall?
So I think we saw before this game that
so there are 0 updates. Okay, I wanted to double check because I know sometimes we like hold it for dramatic purposes.
Sometimes we do. We don't usually.
You'll just have to stay
right
tuned.
Before.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. It might be revealed. 0 update. Yeah. So no update this week. It'll be revealed later. But yeah, that obviously 1-0 right now for Greece. So looking strong going into their set versus Taiwan. And with that, trainers, we are now going to go into another break. Please stay tuned. There are more matches coming.